right, so I guess we'll just get going here. So, what's up, y'all? It's Oliver here. I'm chilling with the guy.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Idolo, Edie, Kamish, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
he's got a lot of
Pleasure,
names.
pleasure to be here again, once again. Wow, it feels just like yesterday. We were reviewing Boxing Day.
Dude, it really does. Holy shit, man. Those here we are, what, almost 2 weeks in now to 2021,
Right.
and man, I'm just ready to get going, ready to get after it. And if you guys were watching, we did release a brief video earlier this week about the hiatus, addressing it, and just kind of setting the expectation for what we're looking to accomplish this year. So hopefully this will come as no surprise. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, yeah. But hey, so for this video, I mean, what we're going to chat about, briefly touch on the action today in the Prem. Today's the 12th, Tuesday. Some interesting things went down today, but then we'll jump into the meat and potatoes, as they say, about what this pod is going to be about. Essentially, we're going to just chat about different jargon and phrases and different words that we use within the soccer community, and talk about and how it's done here in the States as well as other places abroad, and our thoughts on it. And hopefully you guys have some good feedback. I know we put out a nice Twitter poll where I did get some feedback from a few of our followers, so we'll touch on those as well. I look forward to that.
What do we get? What kind of responses did we get? Are we able to throw some of the responses up on the video?
Maybe, yeah, I should actually be able to get them. Yeah, I'll try and get them up on the video. That's a good idea.
We'll see if we can get our guy to work on that. Maybe he can do it.
Yeah, clip that. You heard that? All right. I think
I'm gonna pull up the Twitter. I pull up the AmiGolazo Twitter because 2021 promises a lot. I feel like.
That's right. No, I agree. I think I'm excited to be back. I don't know about you, Idolo, but I mean, this year, it just seems like there's a nice flow as to what's going on in world soccer and how it's kind of been amidst the pandemic, like our way of escape, essentially. So,
agreed. I couldn't have said better myself. I agree.
Well, all right. Well, so I mean, I guess one of the first things I want to touch on, just talk about the Prem, what went down today. So first of all, Manchester United back to the top of the table.
Good for them.
Yeah. 3 points today. Paul Pogba, a nice volley, took a nice deflection. But to see Man U top of the Prem today is, man, I don't know about you, but yeah, I mean, it's
a treat for United fans, I feel like.
It's definitely a treat.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and we've got a couple friends, in the circle here that are big Man U fans, so I'm sure they're pretty thrilled.
Oh, it was great. It was vintage Pogba, vintage Pogba goal, and I think it's the uniforms you're wearing today, little zebra stripe action. Brought him back to the Juve days, and he had a classic goal, which hopefully that they can get more of that. Maybe if they rock those unis more, Pogba, they'll get the best out of Pogba. But it was great. I love seeing him score those.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where that's what they thought they were going to get when they bought him, and there's been maybe a handful of those. I would argue none of them as spectacular as some of the bombastos he had at Juve, but still, today was a very important goal.
Yeah, right. And that's, not every single one of them can be those, but when they are and they're meaningful, oh, wow, that's just.
For sure.
That's great. That's why you pay the big bucks.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, I don't know if you saw, it was the early game today, but Sheffield United played against Newcastle. And Sheffield United, who last year sort of overachieved, and they came right up from the Prem and did relatively well. I think finished top half of the table. And this year, they hadn't won a game yet until today, and they finally beat Newcastle.
Good for them. Hopefully, it's a little run, and they can get out of that 20th spot. Right, a couple to them and West Brom both only have one win. Fulham and Brighton with 2, so that relegation race will be real this year.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. And actually, something I saw in sort of the aftermath of the match was a little fun fact for all the weeest of lads out there.
Oh wow.
Ryan today for Newcastle, Ryan Fraser became the shortest ever Premier League player to be sent off in a
No.
match.
How tall is he?
5'4".
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
he overtook or maybe undertook the previous shortest guy, Tariq Lamptey, who is
Oh,
on Brighton, and his red card was earlier this season. So today is
wow.
the year of the short,
Mm,
angry Napoleon complex guys getting red cards, apparently.
damn. Look at that. Another record. Well, Newcastle, they're looking for any type of moral victories right now. So
Yeah.
well, that's sad though. That is sad that they you don't want to be the team that gives up the first win to that winless team. So uh,
Right.
I felt a little bad, but it felt great, better for Sheffield. And
Yeah,
Everton.
I saw another stat. It was the last team to be as bad as Sheffield at this stage in the season. I believe it was Derby County a few years back, and the team that they beat to get their first win or something like that was Newcastle again.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
At full
not good.
circle. Love it. That's
Yeah,
how it
not
works.
good. Sometimes it'd be like that. That's just
They
how
do.
it is.
Really do.
Yeah, and I mean, last thing here, and then we'll move on into the to the good stuff and what the purpose of the pod is today. But I just wanted to point out something. It randomly came on my timeline as I was doing some research. But the Maine Coon is the largest domesticated cat breed, and I had never heard of this thing up until I saw it today. And I don't know if you heard of it. I'm not a cat person. This
Me
thing's
either.
huge,
What
huge.
is it called? What is the cat called?
Maine Coon, Mainecoon. I thought it was like I follow this guy that's like a National Geographic photographer, and it was on his page. So I thought it was like a wild animal, but no, it's domesticated. So a little
Oh
tip.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Being like not being the cat guy, seeing this is just like, why? Some scary looking ones here though. Holy
Yeah, it's
shit.
scary, dude. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, exactly. But all right, well, I guess we'll move on into the good stuff here. I don't think you guys came here to talk about cats, but figured
Right.
just it just it jumped
I,
out of
I do want to say though, Lucas Digne came back today and already got an assist. Just want to put that out there. That's
me. Yeah.
fantasy team related, but
Hey man.
any of my
Hey
other
man.
friends, So
Yeah, actually, I saw too on Twitter post match Ross Barkley, who
yeah.
is at Aston Villa. He tweeted at Luca Dean, who is like, or no, I don't even think he added him. I think he just said Luca Dean, like magical left foot or something. and he's actually Luca is really active on Twitter, and
Oh,
he
is he?
responded. Yeah, he was like, "Good looks, mate," but obviously with like a French accent. Um, he's good looks,
Uh,
mate, or whatever. But yeah.
I gotta follow him. Gotta get all those guys on my team followed.
Did
Make sure.
Everton ended up winning, correct?
Yeah, they won 2-1.
Okay.
So that was a good
All
dub
right.
because I do have a bet out there for them to finish top 4 this year. So
That's right.
I need that to happen.
That's right. I think you asked me about that, and I don't think they will. I don't
Oh,
think they will.
I think
But I
so.
mean, that's the thing. This season could go
Just want to keep
literally
track.
anywhere, bro, for sure.
I
All right.
believe.
Well,
I believe
yeah.
in Chimati in the project.
Hey, if you don't believe, nobody's gonna believe, man. Right? You got to do it. So. All right. Well, so let's just jump into what I was thinking we would chat about today, and
Mhm.
look forward to getting everyone's feedback. But essentially, in the world of soccer, there are so many different. Since it's a global game, there are different phrases for just about everything, from like a corner flag down to the color of the paint that is on the pitch itself.
Mhm.
Referees, that sort of thing. I just wanted to chat with you and we can discuss some personal experiences and, talk about all the different phrases and jargon that's used in the world of soccer. Does that?
Yeah, it's being such a global sport, and one example, just it happens every day. Probably, people go to a new country and they use soccer or football as a way to communicate, and a lot of the times you end up picking up vocabulary from the game that you might otherwise never learn, right? So for me, especially coming from Brazil and coming here, and just like the word soccer in general is just like totally doesn't make sense. It's called football all over the world. Why here? Just here. It's called soccer. So that was one of the things that was interesting. And then right from there, I realized like, okay, there's probably very specific jargon to each place. So soccer, the referee, because in Brazil we call a referee a judge. If you were to translate it directly, he's a juiz, a judge. So even here, learning the word referee, I was like, it makes no sense to me. So
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's some cool stuff in there that, and I'm sure, and like you told me before too, in France and French, there's some examples too of words that they mean something else, but they translate to the soccer field, right?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And you say soccer field there. I mean, that's one of the first areas I wanted to touch on, was just the different ways people call the field itself. I know, you call it, the fields. There's a lot of synthetic turf around here in where we are in Buffalo, New York, due to the weather and shit. Yeah. And so a lot of the times it's called like the turf, which was always kind of weird to me. Mm-hmm. Of course, you've got like the classic British and Premier League terms like the pitch. Right? I love the pitch.
Who doesn't like the pitch?
The pitch is great. I think that's probably my favorite. I just love. Me too. Yeah, I just like. I'm off to the pitch, man. It just flows. You know what I mean? And then in French, it's called. It's like le pelouse, which literally means like the lawn.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But la pelouse is like, of course, it's very French and shit. It sounds nice, but is there a term for that in Portuguese?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's we sometimes call it the big carpet, tapetão, which is like a big carpet.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So but that's only if it's like real good quality,
Oh
like,
shit! Okay.
Like final stage, and it's perfectly cut. Because not every pitch is like that, right? There's a lot of dirt pitches in Brazil, so sometimes they call it a dirt. But definitely, I mean, or even if you're playing on the street, that could be your own pitch. How many times?
Yeah. And then it becomes like, what do you personally call the pitch? Because like, I remember, and I think you were there. I mean, when we were younger, man, we would like play sometimes in this one parking lot in like pitch black under one light. Like, that shit. That was not a pitch. That was not a carpet. That was like the concrete, like asphalt.
Yeah, that's what you get your own little, the little spots in your neighborhood, or the little, not so much like here where we live, you get more fields, right? And like, but in Brazil, you get more like basketball courts that are also soccer, like futsal courts. And then in Italy, when I was there, I saw like there was only one where I was at, but you still get more of that soccer playground pitch than you do like where we're at, where it's all like basketball, or even street hockey. Even so, a park has a street hockey field before soccer. So. But the game breathes. The game lives.
Yeah, and to that point too. I mean, in France, man, a lot of the like small side fields and shit. It's funny, they do combine them often with soccer or with basketball. So you'll have a little net. It'll be like a boxed-in area, almost like the way indoor soccer used to be in Buffalo in the States, arena soccer, where you have like the walls and then there's, a goal that's like indented and then a basketball net above it.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, yeah, that was something. I mean, we don't have that in the States, at least not in Buffalo.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe some other places might have it, but at least up here, no, it depends, right? Demographics and
sure
what people want. And then you get down there, and if it's somebody's playing basketball on it, they always got booted off for the soccer.
Gotta get them off.
It's like, and then they would try to be shooting while we're like attacking on the other end, and we're coming down, and then they wait. Oh, it's funny as hell.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Imagine going down to like fucking the Bronx or some shit and trying that, and like,
right.
You know what I mean? Oh my god.
Yeah, my buddy who lives down there, Marco. You remember Marco? But it's all basketball courts. They have to go to the field. Like they have like little fields there that they play.
Okay. I mean, they got the infrastructure dollars down there, and
exactly.
I mean that's something they definitely need to start investing in heavily, more so at least, up in the Northeast here, but probably throughout the United States, because there's still so much turf, like synthetic turf around here. But anyway. So I mean, I guess next after the field itself, the pitch, probably one of the more important things would be the ball, right?
Right.
I mean,
oh yeah.
So I know there's terms like if we're messing around, like, like pass me the rock, right?
Yeah. Pass me the rock, this shit. Let's see what else. Through. You just
through. Yeah. Through square would be like, a straight pass, through, down the line, things like that, of course. And then like just the name for the ball itself, like the rock, but then like, pelota.
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish, but I know that word, right?
Do we have any? I'm trying to think. Like, I think there are some nicknames. I'm just drawing a blank right now in Portuguese for the ball. But there are some, like especially when like they're describing plays, like if you're describing like a 1-2 pass, right? We call it a tabela, which if you're like to directly translate it, which I gotta look it up right now because
tabela. I'm thinking of like the French word is tableau, which means like a board, like a drawing.
Yeah, it literally means like a table. So the 1-2 we sometimes call it the table because you hit it off it and it just comes right back to you pretty much. Okay. So that's one cool way. So like sometimes those little plays they do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think I think River Plate just scored.
No. No way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Wait, they're reviewing it, but I think it's
Jesus.
That's the third one. But another thing that in Portuguese, which is interesting, is if we're gonna pivot from the ball to what we do with the ball and the moves.
Yeah, please.
For me, one of my favorite ones is in Portuguese is the half moon. Any idea what that might be?
The half moon. So is it a rainbow?
You got the idea. It's when and I don't even know what it's called in English. It's when you hit the ball on one side and you run around the player.
Oh, see, I know the French word. I don't think they have it in.
They don't have that here, right?
No, they don't have it.
Is that because like I don't get? They just don't. But in Portuguese,
they don't fucking know what the hell.
Yeah, right. It's like it's the half moon because you're like when you run around the guy, right? You're doing like half of the moon. So that one's cool. And we also call that the another name for it is the cow dribble. I don't know why, but it's just like
how do you say that in Portuguese then?
Drible da vaca. So it's just I don't know why it is.
Because it's like big. Like it's just a big dribble.
Yeah, could be, right? Because you got to go all the way around this fucking guy and get the ball. Baby, yeah.
Because in French, it's called grand pont, which means like big bridge.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
Yeah.
the term in French. I remember my dad when I was little, he for some reason like was more obsessed with that than a petit pont, which means a nutmeg.
Oh, say that again. How
Petit
does it say
pont,
it?
petit pont means a nutmeg. So little bridge, and then grand pont is a big bridge. So it's when
Oh.
you kick it around one way and you go around the other. That's the fat cow or whatever you call it.
I wonder if that's like a more of an old school move that like maybe like it was
It,
appreciated more by like older generations, and I don't know.
it could
But
be. Yeah.
speaking of nutmeg, that's a great pivot. I
Yeah,
think that's probably the one move that has the most terms
for
for,
sure.
at least in Portuguese. There's like a couple. So we have the uh, what do we call a caneta, which translates to a pen. It's just called pen when you nutmeg a guy.
Oh, really? Huh.
Um, a little dress. Sometimes it's called a dress. A little dress. Sainha. You get put between your legs. Or rolinho, which means like a little hole. So it's like so many
That's
different
so
ways.
great.
Uh, and there's so many. And then the classic pana, which we don't use a lot
Right,
in Brazil, pana, which coming here to America, I always like wonder what's the term here used. And I think it's nutmeg, right? Can you
Yeah, I
say
think nutmeg is what was imported here basically, and that seems to be the most popular one, which is, I mean, so boring, honestly.
what does it mean? Well, like is it just
I
like
have no fucking clue. I'm thinking like, your nuts, like it goes below your nuts. I
yeah,
don't know, dude. Honestly, I don't know what nutmeg. Um,
or just meg, right? Like he got megged. Like sometimes you hear like that.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Like I get it. Like, oh, he's meg, nutmeg, little nutmeg. They'll say that
Mhm.
and shit. But dude, I think the fact that, and it's funny because obviously in Brazil, you've got players that are way more capable of doing nutmegs than you know
Right.
anywhere
Sometimes
else in
they
the
chase
world.
that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes maybe to a fault even some because they'll go for a nutmeg when maybe really you should just dish the rock or
Right.
like get rid of the ball. But
Exactly.
sometimes the nutmeg is worth it, dude, and that's probably why they have all these different names for it. It's because of how much they value
Right.
humiliating an opponent like that.
There's
You know?
just that's true. That's a good point. And it's such a humiliating move, right? Because you're literally the guy, especially when they get caught and you do the classic like, let me just go around you real quick. That's the best. And then for one we were talking about earlier, right? The roulette. I think that's also one that's been picked
Yeah.
up a lot, changed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's see, I'll say with like a Buffalo accent, like a Maradona would be,
The
you
Murdon.
know, shout out to Tassio, but he would just call it a Maradon back in the day in recess. But yeah, I mean, that essentially is the move that was, popularized by the late Diego Maradona, rest in
Mhm.
peace. But it's essentially where you step on the ball, turn, you do a 360, and keep dribbling right around a guy. Maradona.
Right.
Uh, but in French, it's called roulette, a roulette. And a lot of that has to do with, in France,
Yep.
they see that, they don't look at that as a Diego Maradona move. When they see that dribble, it's
Mhm.
considered a Zizou-ism. Zinedine Zidane
That
has
is,
done that. If you watch highlight videos of him online, you'll see that
yeah.
he did it as much, if not more often, than Diego himself.
I
So
would I would agree. I think that's one of his. I would attribute that move to him. And I'm looking. I just did a quick Google on it. The Marseille turn. That's the first thing that comes up for it. I'm not sure.
Marseille,
Yeah, Marseille turn, but it's also been known as the Zidane turn,
okay.
the
Well,
double
it makes
drag
sense. He
back.
was, he was born in Marseille, so
Maybe that's why. Yeah,
yeah,
the
very, very.
spin. The spin's kind of boring.
Yeah, fuck that. That's probably
Double
some dude.
drag back. That doesn't sound good either.
No, those are some American fucking terms right there.
Yeah,
Double drag back.
you hit
You
him
know what
with
I
it.
mean? Fuck that shit. But
Now,
yeah, and then here's another one that I remember being younger
mhm.
and in high school, and this was like the big one at the time that just somehow it was almost as if it only became relevant when kids our age were able to do it, like freshman year, because we were like long enough and our feet were literally big enough to do it. But the rubber band, aka
Oh,
the elastico. And then
right.
I heard some dude that I like idolized when I was younger. I thought he was like the best soccer player in the area, and he called it the snake, and I was like, "Fuck that! It's horrible,
The
horrible.
snake?
Yeah, it's trash."
Jeez.
What are your thoughts there?
I've heard of the flip flap before, and I
Ah,
thought that was a little unique, but
okay,
the snake? Never heard of
trash.
the snake. Yeah, I love that move. Growing up, that was one of my favorite moves. And then Ronaldinho did it a lot too, which I really liked.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was for me is always the elastico. That's what it's called, the
elastico.
rubber band, right? For me,
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
that's what I always liked, just because of the flick motion.
Oh yeah,
But uh,
yeah.
the snake, no, that ain't doing it for me.
Yeah, that shit is
And then
trash.
with the snake, that
It's
sounds a little sus. I don't know. I'm not
trash.
gonna get into
Yeah,
it.
no comment, no
No
comment.
comment. You up in playing up in the carpet doing the snake, bro? Like, I don't know if I want to watch you.
That's great. And it's funny too. I don't know, something about Ronaldinho. I won't even try to pronounce it the way you did, but the way when he would do a rubber band or an elastico, something about he did it so much better than anyone else. And I feel like 80% of the reason is because his ponytail would like flick with
Yeah.
the rubber
Yes.
band.
I was gonna say the same thing. It was the ponytail going like that.
You're
That
like,
guy didn't know where he's going. The
yeah.
hair probably was wet. It would hit him in the
Oh, so
face,
wet.
blind him. The
Oh my
teeth,
god.
it's like, what am I looking at right now? It's so much. Oh, and Palmeiras coach just got sent off. He got a red card for some reason here. Sorry.
Oh my.
I'm sorry.
No, dude, you're good. I appreciate these. I'm invested too. I
But I I
it's my
the
adopted
way he
club.
did it too, I would say, is the Ginga, right? The Ginga
Ah, yeah.
plays into it. And with the listeners and viewers who aren't familiar with Ginga, we could probably have a whole episode just on Ginga.
We could. We
But
could.
it's just this Brazilian thing, like rhythm that is in their body that they can just use it and just at any point to their advantage or to their disadvantage, as we were talking about earlier. They might use the Ginga at the wrong time when they should have just played it simple. So I think
Yeah.
that helped a lot too.
Yeah, no, Jenga, for those that don't fully comprehend, I mean, this is something Idolo introduced to me maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's magic. It's the ability to just create something out of thin air that is just so breathtaking, not only for yourself, but the opponent, the
Mhm.
teammates, the spectators, probably most importantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't you say? Probably the spectators, right? They are just in
Hmm.
awe. When you create a moment of Jenga, a moment of magic that
Yes. It,
reverberates throughout the stadium.
worth the ticket price.
Yes,
That's
well said.
you want to go in there and you want to see some magic. Why not?
Yeah.
So I watching him do it for many years, and then I don't see it as much nowadays. You see it every now and then, but not like you used to. Elastic.
Well, because now the game is pivoting towards quick passing, high
Yeah,
press,
that's true.
less on the individual. The number 10 role is slowly dying out. Some would argue. I may argue against that, but yeah, I mean
Right.
that's how it's going. But yeah, I mean aside from that, I don't know. Maybe we can. There's a couple more I want to touch on, and then we can
Mhm.
get to the fan comments on Twitter because I know they're probably at home waiting for us to get to them. So hold your horses, Matt.
Oh,
Let me talk about keep ups and like juggling in general. Like you remember,
yeah.
probably it took a while. Like we could always juggle and shit, you and I for sure. Juggling seems to be something a lot of people struggle with locally in the States, in the Northeast, and just having a good touch in general. But
Yes.
not trying to whatever. But like keep ups, that would be a term that would go about a lot.
Yeah.
Juggling, of course, and then like playing ladder. Do you remember that? Do you remember that at all?
No, never heard of that.
So ladder was like, if you remember, it was like I would do one juggle, I give you the ball, you do
Oh,
two, give
yeah.
it back to me, and I would do three. But like I'm trying to remember the terms. I feel like we had a different one when we were younger and shit, but it wasn't ladder. I feel like it was I don't fucking know, dude. Honestly, I mean, shout out to George Clay. Maybe he would know this.
He
Maybe,
might. Yeah, he was a big
might be-
keepy uppy guy for sure.
yeah, he was good, dude. George had a great touch. Talk about
Yeah.
some class there as far as tech.
Yeah, I
Techers.
remember
Techers. Well, that's something I just
Techers.
thought of right there. That's a good one.
Techers,
Um,
yeah, Techers can mean so many things nowadays, right? Like
yeah.
he has Techers, great Techers. It could just mean like he's great feet and he does like quick moves, not specifically a move, just a lot of good moves.
Yeah.
Or he can do a lot of juggling moves, right?
Hmm.
But in Brazil, the word we have is embaixadinha, and that literally translates to embassy, which go figure. I don't know. Like,
What the hell, man? You guys are like creating foreign policy based on your
yeah.
soccer moves.
So I don't know why.
Amazing.
So like
See?
there's like keepy uppy and kick ups, and like, but in Portuguese we just say like, let's do some embaixadinha. Can you do embaixadinha, which means it's like, can you juggle? Not like and it's not like a crazy juggle where the ball's everywhere. It's like, oh, I did it. It has to be like the little touches. That's
Can
what
you
the
keep the little like nice
yeah.
control? Okay, gotcha.
That's why it's like embaixadinha, like little, because it's
Little, that's right, that's right.
um. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. That's a good one. I've totally forgot about keepy uppies for sure. Or
Dude,
keep
you know how awesome that is though to basically have like a whole subset of words, a
up.
dictionary really, all dedicated to soccer, man. That's
Yeah,
so fucking cool.
and then
That's
and
so
like another one. Let's give a quick shout out to the keepers. Right, there's some terms
oh
out
yeah.
there for keepers. Like, um, are there any in English that you know of?
I'm trying to think. I mean,
Parry, like a save.
a pair is like a big save. Yeah, like a but I mean, I don't know, they kind of get shit on keepers.
They
They're
do.
that's just how it is. That's their life. They chose that life. I don't really feel bad for them.
Did they
But I mean,
though?
you guys show them some respect in Brazil, is what you're saying?
No, I mean it's just like here, like the fat kid goes on that, and then it's like you gotta, because in Brazil everybody is a forward, right? Where you're born a forward, and then you're forced into other positions
That's
because
right.
But there's no, like they get some love on the terms, I would say. Like when a keeper makes a really nice diving save, right? We say uma ponte, like a bridge, which in
Oh,
France you told me it's like similar.
yeah.
Where they're doing, if the way the keeper dives, it sometimes might look like a arching bridge.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, and then we also have terms for when they mess up, when they fuck up, right? If they
Mhm.
give up like a really easy goal that should have been saved, we call it a chicken, a frango, like he messed up. So is there terms like that that you know of?
I love it, dude. No, I don't know any terms like that. I mean, in French, no, I don't know any. I'm sure there are. I would have to look into it, but
Yeah, but they don't. They get some praise on the good stuff, but they sometimes, like we
I
call it,
get
like
beat down.
the chicken, or the we call them a video game goalie, like call them that. But besides
Interesting.
that, they really just a bridge save, which I like. I like
It
the
looks
sound.
like a nice arc. Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
That's cool. Yeah, that's some good props and all that jazz. Um, I guess yeah, something else too. And these are terms that, definitely one or two I don't think have any English translation. I think they're just fully imported. And then there are some classics too that I'm curious to your thought. I have some personal experiences that I'll talk about briefly. But so here's one that I think is really cool and probably one of the lesser known terms, especially amongst the populace, for example, at Mesque or a local soccer bar or just your average like American soccer location would be an Olympico. You know what that is, right?
The corner kick goal?
Exactly. A goal directly from a corner kick.
That is that is like a non-existent thing here. I've noticed that. Yeah, we call it gol olímpico in Portuguese. So
Cool.
we definitely have that. And it's like it's if you can do that, you're kind of like considered really good most of the time. I know sometimes it can be luck, but it was always like a thing that, especially when I was growing up, joking around like, oh, he's gonna score directly like Olympic goal here. But yeah, that's true. I never heard of it here.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where if you score one, everyone's gonna say that, oh, you didn't mean to do that, but you're gonna tell them, yeah, I did. And
exactly.
it's one of those things. It's like it's gonna be hard to really ever convince or prove to people that you meant to do it. People will accuse you of being lucky.
Good luck with that.
But there's a term for it for sure. And then another one too is a Rabona. So you know what that is? Yeah, I know you're familiar. You and I have messed around with Rabonas for years now.
And that's I don't think that's used in Portuguese as much. I think we use more of it's called letra, G letra, which means letter, a letter. So when you do a rabona like that, like you're like, it's just called letra, a letter.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, that's
I've never heard of that.
Rabona. Yeah, you got to be in the know to know the Rabona, I feel like.
Tell me about, and this is one that I think is a legendary Brazilian, Trivela.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, come on. That's
the outside foot, the Quaresma shot. Yeah. And that's the same way we sell it, Trivela. And it's, there's nothing like hitting a good one, huh?
Oh, my God, yeah. And they'll say, oh, he's got a weaker left foot, so he's done the outside of the bit. It's like, no, doesn't necessarily mean he's got a weak left foot. Maybe he went for the style, the points there. And you know what we call that? And it's just hitting me now, but in the States, and this is something I heard at a very young age, they'd be like, oh, it's a banana kick.
What the fuck?
Fuck are you talking? It'd be like some dude that's like the swimming coach and his daughter's on the team or some shit. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my goodness. Banana kick, that's a first for me.
Yeah, it's a banana kick. All right, but then I mean, this is one that I'm sure that everyone knows about this, whether you're a soccer player or not. But I have one question for you, Elo.
Yeah.
Can we do a rainbow?
The rainbow, that's if you could do a rainbow, especially at an early age, like if you figured out the mechanics for it, at least for me, I felt like a soccer god. Like I was like, this is insane. I could actually do this. And then, little use. I mean, I'll take that back. It is very useful in a real game. If you could pull it off, people might, as the pros, as you get higher in the pros, they might like hate on you for it because like, you're showboating. Like Neymar, for example, he'll pull it off. But yeah, being a young kid pulling a rainbow, you're starting on your soccer team if you're doing that.
Dude. Goated automatically, dude. I remember in a Narden League game there, we were like in our own half. And we were, I don't know, maybe up like 9-0 on these because they were trying. And I was being a dick, and I just rainbowed over one of the big kids.
Did he get mad?
You just feel guilty after it happens. You're like,
yeah, it is a pretty degrading move to pull somebody.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the game they're gonna be gunning.
You're targeted. You are targeted.
You are a target.
I'll point out too, and you'll remember this. Well, maybe I might have been before your time, but one of the old gym teachers way back in the day, he used to be able to do a rainbow and he would do it so high that it would hit the roof of the gym.
Oh, fuck.
You remember that? I don't know if you were there, but I don't want to get too in detail. But yeah, that was the thing. And like, being 8 years old or whatever the fuck it was, you see that, you're like, oh my God, he's probably like the best soccer player.
Yeah.
He had no clue what the fuck he was doing.
No, yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
That happens a lot. Like people learn a trick or two, and you're just like, oh, this guy's legit, and then it doesn't translate.
Yeah,
but the Rainbow is a classic, and we need to keep it alive.
I would agree, and that's why I want to do a big shout out here to my boy Salah. Back in the day, playing Delaware soccer, way back when, he would kind of practice in jeans and like Allen Iverson Reeboks, and he'd probably be better than half the team.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's still balling out.
He was so good, dude, and he would just be like, he was a little dude. I don't know, maybe 4'11" at the time, and he would do a rainbow, and he would just look at people that were joining the team. He would look them dead in the eye and be like, "Can you do a rainbow?" And if the kid was like, "What is that?" he'd be like, "Don't worry."
Yeah,
that'd be it.
Not even waste my breath on that.
Yeah. So shout out to him, but also, I mean, and this is the last one. Well, actually, two more areas, but as far as like scissors, step overs.
Great. That's a good one too.
So I have an interesting take here, is that for me growing up, a scissor was always when you went inside out. So when you went inside of the ball, out around. And the step over was always when you would step over the ball and go and do like a turn. But then that was the American way. That's how it was taught to kids growing up by the Hesh brothers, infamous Hesh brothers, locally here in Western New York. They would call it a step over. But then you watch like the Premier League in, say, 03, 04, and Cristiano Ronaldo on Manchester United, the step over king. He's doing scissors. Those, and they would call them the Ronaldo step over, and that's they would say step over. They're not calling it scissor. And I don't know where the scissor got introduced in the States, but for some reason it has stayed, and unfortunately, it stuck with me too. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, to me, step over shouldn't be the continuous move, just because it does sound like it's just a one and then you're going the other way. Scissors, they kind of make sense, but they don't to me, because if I'm thinking like the way the move works, a scissor, like, to me sounds like something you would do and cut as well, like a quick cut. But, and of course I'm biased, but what makes most sense to me is what we use in Brazil, which is pedalando, which is pedaling, like you're pedaling on a bike.
Yeah,
so nice. To me, that always made sense, because when you're doing that move, you're kind of like continuously doing like little circular motions around the ball. And when Robinho 04 was still playing on Santos, that's how he really blew up. He was playing in the, back then the league was playoffs, like they had playoffs in the Brazilian league. Crazy. And it was a playoff game, Santos Corinthians, and he hit eight scissors.
Yeah.
And got a penalty call from it, and they won the game. But scissors, I like scissors more. I would say scissors more than step overs.
Interesting. Because like the British people definitely say step overs. And the scissors is something that was created here, I think. And it's different, at least by the Hesh brothers book of soccer. They have scissors and step overs, very separated.
Is that a shout out?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I like them. I'll see them around. I see them at the bar every now and again. But no, they were good guys. A lot of inside jokes about those guys for any local guys that want to reach out, talk about the Hesh brothers. Reach out to me.
Yeah. I actually might have to find this book, but in my bookshelf I have this one book that I got for my birthday a couple of years ago. That talks. It's like soccer tactics. And it breaks down like tons of shit, and it's American. So I'll have to revisit that book and let you know what I saw in there, because there's probably some more interesting words on there. I just remembered of that now because you said you mentioned the book.
Yeah, no, please do, man.
Yeah, it's
really interesting.
And they have a whole chapter on set pieces. So.
Oh God, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Oh my God, I was looking to segue there, and you just fucking took us there. We had no choice. You freaking chained us up and brought us right to the set piece discussion.
Oh yeah.
Idolo, here's the deal, man.
Let's hear
it. Growing up in French, it's coup franc, which means like I don't know the direct translation, but it's a foul, so like a free kick, and coup franc. And in English, in the States, for the longest time, from what I remembered, it was a free kick.
Free kick, yes.
And then out of freaking nowhere, we got a right hook from like Alexi Lalas, Fox Soccer,
of course,
and all these freaking dipshits that start calling it a set piece. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck is that? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I'm trying to think, where the origins could come from, and trying to relate it to the Brazilian word, which has always been one of my tricks to learning English words, is how does it relate to Portuguese, and can I get like a deeper meaning to it? So looking at set piece and looking at the Portuguese word, which is jogada ensaiada, which means it's a rehearsed play. I could maybe seen like set piece, like the set of a movie or something, and a set piece, like a piece of a play, maybe. So that's where it goes. But free kick, just is like you said, is something that was what I always thought it was. I don't know where we start getting a set piece here, and if the guy does one little fake, like where do you draw the line? Is it a free kick or a set piece, or is it both? Because we draw a line. To me, we draw the line like where, like if I'm watching and I see a free kick goal, a set piece goal. Yeah. If I was told you, Oliver, they scored on a set piece, what do you think?
I think somebody crossed it in and somebody headed it in, right?
Right. It was like a play,
right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Me too. But like if you're saying the problem is if you're saying, I scored on a set piece, but you directly kicked it, then that's like a free kick goal.
Yeah.
Right. So it can't be both. It's got
exactly
right.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's kind of like one of those things where it's almost as if I feel like I remember getting really worked up about it a couple World Cups ago, maybe 2010. And when they started saying, they're like, and a set piece here. And I was just like, what the fuck? I've never heard this in my life. Like, where? Right. It's almost like they made some sort of like a marketable term to apply to American viewers for World Cups to try and get them to understand, like, it's a set piece.
Right.
Like,
dude, it's like little blurbs and like something new that they can like bring into the convo, Like, I know soccer. Like, do you even know what a set piece is?
Well, there's set pieces. I'll tell you. Some of the best this guy is the best set piece taker in the whole MLS.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude,
like a spot kick. Is that like specifically a PK then? Is that what that means?
A spot kick, that can be even a little bit just as ambiguous, if not more.
Right.
And that's something maybe we can touch on briefly and are the penalty kicks. Like, I know there is I watch a lot of, Premier League podcasts, that kind of thing. And, there's certainly a favoritism towards a pen, is that a pen? It's a pen, P-E-N.
Mm-hmm.
And then a penalty.
Pen,
in the States, we call it a PK. I don't know why. I don't know where the PK. They will not use the term PK in the Premier League ever. I've never heard it used. No, it's a penalty or a pen. Those are the two words.
So that's English. That's an Americanized thing.
PK is an American thing.
See, I didn't know that.
In French, it's a penalty.
Yeah, penalty.
In Portuguese too.
Penalty. Yeah, that's it.
Penal in Spanish, I think. Penal.
Mm-hmm. The most unique one I've heard was in Italy, which they call it, or at least one of the ways they call it. I'm sure there's other one. Calcio di rigore, which translates to like rigorous football, like, which was
So are they referring to the tackle itself and not the actual like the penalty taken? They're talking about the foul that led to the penalty?
I think so. Well, I don't know, because like whenever I watch highlights and there's like a penalty call, like the announcer will go calcio di rigore, Fiorentina, calcio di rigore, and it's like, oh shit. So maybe it is. Yeah, the play is just like bad play. Okay. So
yeah, I mean that's an interesting one too. And on that same front is I'm sure you are familiar with the term panenka, right? Which is the
I know what it is, but what is it?
That's Zizou 2006 World Cup final where it's a chip.
Yes.
Chip, yeah. Panenka, yeah. I mean, that's one that I don't know any other term for that.
Me neither.
That is a term based specifically on a player whose last name was Panenka, who was the first guy to do that. And then now they say like, oh, that was a Panenka. So that's a cool one.
There's in Portuguese we call it like a cavadinha when you like when you kind of chip. Cavadinha, which means to kind of like dig, cavar, like is digging. So
yeah, okay.
You're digging under the ball. And then we also sometimes we call it like a bed sheet, laying salt. So I don't know, when you start thinking about it, you're just like,
this shit you guys are coming up with over
there.
Yeah, I love it. I freaking love it.
It's great.
Well, I'm glad we had the set piece and free kick discussion. And lastly, last of what I wanted to chat on, then we'll finally get to these goddamn, Twitter followers here.
Yeah.
But, this is a cool one for me. And, I might know one or two French terms for these, but the major cool ones for me are the British ones are like a gaffer, which is like, manager and stuff. And I know we use it within our fantasy soccer league and all that. The gaffer. And then also like, and it's great because you'll watch like the post match on, Monday Night Football or whatever in England. And it'll be like Jamie Carragher and Phil Neville talking about their gaffers and shit, which is great. And then like skipper, of course, is like the captain, which
I like.
Skipper in the States, but typically skipper's associated with like a captain of a boat and not of like an athletic team. But like when we say skipper in the United States, typically it means, and I'm not like a boat person, so
right.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but skipper typically is like the captain of a boat.
Oh shit.
At least that's my
understanding. I never knew that. So that's an American term, skipper?
Well, I think the term skipper I think they use it in England too for like boats and shit, but we strictly use it in the States for captains of a boat. Whereas in soccer in England and football, they say skipper is the captain of, he could be a captain of his boat, but if he's the captain of his soccer team too, he's the skipper. So I thought
that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think going back to the gaffer, right? Like here in America, it's just like coach, right? There's really nothing else, right? Yeah. In Brazil, we have the técnico. The coach is like technical, which translates to technical.
Sure.
And then they also have a lot of the players, just because when you're growing up, you don't call them coach, you call them teacher, professor. I don't know why. But so when even as they get older and they're doing press conferences, they'll talk about their coach as their professor.
That was Arsene Wenger's nickname in the Prem. He was the professor. Yeah, the professor.
So when you're a coach down there, you're professor or técnico, like the technical.
That's great. In French, it's just entraîneur, which means like trainer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
and then I'm sure they have some dirty names for coaches
John.
they don't like.
You guys know what John means?
John. That's ooh.
No, I mean that's for another pod, right?
Yeah, that's
say that for another pod. Well, let's get as we're wrapping up here, let's get into finally the I put out a tweet. And keep in mind, guys, I'll be tweeting in advance to a bunch of the pods we do about just some feedback, what you guys want to hear us talk about, sort of fan input, followers, all 3 billion of you. But so notably, there's a couple here. I think there's 3 of them that I'll want to talk about, maybe 4. And so first of all, toe curler.
Oh man,
I've been dreading this discussion, but we had thoughts on the toe curler, Idolo.
Curler. I mean, there's nothing better than a toe curler. I just if you strike it just right, and you can actually see the curl, and then it goes in. What a relief!
Relief. Definitely a relief. That's it. Well said. So shout out to Jaunty FC.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And their submission, toe curler. Yeah. Follow them on Twitter, by the way, at Jaunty FC. Curler. And you'll hear curler used often.
Oh, yeah. Yelled sometimes.
But toe curler is slightly different.
That's a little unique.
Next we have one very popular one, cheeky.
Cheeky.
Doing something a little bit like, oh, you a little fucker. Like, of course you're a bit cheeky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to sound really cool at the bar. You say, at my Sunday league game, I hit the keep with a cheeky panenka.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? Free shots. You will get free shots right off the bat, dude. Absolutely. And then one that, I am also partial to this one is, I sent them for a hot dog, which means essentially if you sell a guy on like a drop of the shoulder or a fake and he just flies the other way and then you turn and go the other way with ease, that's called sending someone for a hot dog. And that is, believe it or not, it's a British term, but it's definitely
really. How do they have hot dogs in the kingdom?
Well, they have them, but there's no way they're any good because they don't have assailants.
Yeah, dude. Why? Any idea why hot dog is like eating a hot dog kind of like embarrassing? Like going to buy a hot dog, or is it just I
feel embarrassed when I eat hot dogs. No, but. I don't know, honestly, dude. I'll do maybe I'll do a deep dive and report back next pod on the phenomena of sending someone for a hot dog.
Follow up with people that have been sent for hot dogs.
Yeah.
How they're doing today.
Yeah. And then lastly, what we have here is, shout out to Ray Hudson, who is a commentator over on beIN Sport right now, Scottish. Apologies, Ray. But I know you follow us on Twitter.
Big fan.
You introduced me to this term, magisterial. Exactly.
That is. I can't even begin to describe.
Magisterial. Yeah, and if you're not even, I've had family members, friends and shit that have talked to me about Ray Hudson, and they're like, cannot get over how insane this guy is.
But dude,
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I think he's important, and he is a pivotal piece in bringing that passion to the American viewers, because in South America you get a lot of that through the broadcast, right? Like guys yelling goal and shit like that. It kind of gets you hyped up. And the more we get that in these broadcasts, it's like, man, sometimes some of these broadcasts are so boring. So it's always nice to have Ray on there. Sometimes there's like, I remember watching games, there'd be like 40 seconds at a time with nothing. And I get it. You want to watch the games. There's like a different atmosphere of just watching it. But
no, dude, for sure. To touch on that too, like, there's one or two guys in the American commentating community. By the way, Kyle Martino, who recently left the Premier League coverage for NBC, for me was far and away the best American guy we've had ever.
Wow.
Yeah, he was amazing. So sad to see him go. Tim Howard took a spot who, he's all right. But the point is, there's a guy that's so bad that covers the MLS. I don't know if it's Fox or whatever. But his thing is, it's in the net. It's in the net. It's in the net. He says that like 3 times. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. Horrible.
Yeah, I smell Alexi Lalas behind that.
He's probably involved. And Alexi, God damn it! If you're listening, which you probably are, we're engaged on Twitter quite often.
Yeah.
You're a disaster. You're a mess. But I mean, Elo, dude, that's all I have for tonight, man. I think this has been a phenomenal chat, dude. What do you think?
I think it was great. I think we just made a lot of our viewers a lot more soccer or footy savvy. Definitely take this information and use it next time you're talking about the beautiful game. We got the Euros coming up this summer, and sharpen up. And once you know the terms, I'm telling you, when you're watching it, and you understand what the hell's going on and what to call it, you're gonna enjoy it even more. But I had fun. Oliver. I had a lot of fun today.
Dude, what a sweet treat, man. I'm glad we're getting 2021 off to a hot start here, and I look forward to keeping this going, my guy. And we'll talk soon.
For sure. Make sure you guys follow us on the socials, and maybe catch us on the pitch sometime, the virtual pitch. Maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, good point. All right, y'all. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. Later. Magic.